When I was a kid, I always remember this advert that was on TV. For the first 20 seconds or something, it's just a close-up of this guy looking into the distance. No sound, no music, no nothing. You realise straight away he's waiting. But for what?
He waits. That's what he does. And I'll tell you what.
A wave. He's been waiting patiently for the perfect wave. He may have been waiting minutes, hours, or even perhaps days for that one moment to experience the unforgettable. And like that surfer, I too have been waiting. Not for a wave though, but a robe. And not for minutes, hours, days, or even months. I've been waiting years. Or 1,072 days to be precise.
He is still waiting.
The incredible journey through Norway continues.
There's reindeers down here somewhere. Look out for them, will ya?
So we've just left Road 63 and we're heading to another famous road, Gamle Strynefjellsvegen. I hope I haven't butchered that. Which you might have already seen in my top 5 gravel road video, which I produced a few months back. But what I didn't tell you in that video is the story behind this road. It's situated in a remote area and requires a lot of climbing to reach it. In 2018, before I bought a GoPro camera and set up a YouTube channel, I planned to cycle this road, but it never happened for a number of reasons, which I won't bore you with. In 2019, I set aside a weekend in September to hit it, but it ended up snowing and there was a storm. So in 2020, this time I thought I had everything planned out. I would reach the road on June the 15th, the day it opened, and I would be the first person to cycle down it that season. The weather was great, I was feeling great, but it didn't open. Too much snowfall that winter had prolonged the opening. So I tried again in July 2020, but then it turned way too cold and it was actually the coldest July in the mountains on record. So, finally, 2nd of July 2021 and I'm about 5 kilometers away. It's the most beautiful day and I'm finally going to do it. Or am I? If you've watched episode 3, then you'll know that I've cycled 1,500 meters up to the top of a mountain that morning. But what I didn't tell you is how stupid I was. I went way too hard with a 20 kilo bike. I didn't eat correctly and I saved my only real food for the summit. By the time I came down, I had bonked. Seriously bonked, which is a sports term for hitting the wall. I've lost all will to cycle and every meter is now a struggle.
I don't really want to cycle right now.
To give you a little bit of background info here, it's going to rain heavy in the next few days, so I'm trying to cover as much ground as I can while I've got this incredible weather.
My legs have just given up, but it's like I'm 950 meters above sea level right now. It's unbelievable weather, and one of the greatest roads in Norway, perhaps Europe, perhaps the world, is 5 kilometers down the road. But I just so tired and I just want to rest, but I can't do that. I just had to moan. I'm sorry, I just had to moan.
Oh dear, look at me, feeling sorry for myself. I mean, really. I'm the luckiest guy in the world right now, where I am, what I'm about to do. And my little problems mean jack shit.
Let's go. I'm hoping when I hit this mountain road that the scenery is just gonna fill me with energy.
Over 3 years of waiting to do this road. And oh boy, was it well worth the wait. All of a sudden, your legs stop hurting. You forget how hungry you are. You forget about how far you got to cycle that day. None of it matters anymore. You look around in awe of the environment you're in. You realise that what actually is important is not you and your little problems, but this incredible world around you. And if you allow that to become the centre point, your mind will be free and you will completely relax in the moment. And for the next 27 kilometres, it was as if I floated down this road.
Every time I'm in this situation in Norway, Mother Nature just comes to my rescue. And when she does, it's incredible how she makes you feel. It just feels like you can go on, continue.
So why are these lakes so turquoise? Well, rivers that come from glaciers usually bring with them countless tiny rocks and clay particles. When these settle in lakes and the sun shines, the water often looks turquoise due to the refraction of the light in all the small particles. However, on a cloudy day, the water looks more emerald green. This kind of change in colour makes these lakes so appealing to visit and admire. You never know what you're going to get. It's not difficult to understand that building this road in such a barren and harsh environment, 1,000 metres above sea level and at the end of the 19th century, must have been a little bit of a challenge to say the least. At the time, most people believed it was impossible to build, but there was one man who thought otherwise. His name was Hans Haldrup Krag, a man with a military background. He had been to Switzerland and studied how the mountain roads there were built. When he came back, he knew he could build them better here. He emphasised the importance of gentle ascents and fewer curves. His roads rarely went over 10% gradient, which became a huge advantage when the cars later took over from horse transport. But most importantly, he was a doer. He never gave up and his energy resonated among his men. The world is full of talkers, but it's the doers that are remembered. Today, most towns have named roads after him, but of all his mountain road achievements, Gamle Strynefjellsvegen is perhaps his Mona Lisa. Built by hammer and chisel, solid, impenetrable dry stone walls have lasted 140 years. This man was way ahead of his time. If you ride this road, appreciate and marvel at the work, skill and craftsmanship below your feet. We are now entering into the heart of a world where powerful rivers and waterfalls run down deep, lush valleys that are filled with fresh water, emerald green lakes. In fact, there is enough water in this national park to support all of Norway's water needs for the next 100 years. You know, for years they presumed that this glacier was left behind by the last ice age, and that makes sense. But it turns out it's just 5,000 years old. To put that into perspective, this glacier was forming when they were building Stonehenge. That blows my mind.
We'll take that, thank you very much. What a perfect spot. Boom.
You know, water represents many things. Life, fertility, refreshment. And when you spend the day surrounded by lakes, rivers, waterfalls and incredible fjords, with invigorating colours and therapeutic noises, it doesn't matter how tired you are, you will feel alive. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.